adjustment, and we're going to be using the Pilates Magic Circle to help us keep those ribs in place. Using the circle is going to be a tool to help us feel the rib cage being pulled downwards. So the muscles that we're going to be targeting are the abdominals, but mainly what we're going to try to find are your obliques, which are on the sides of your abdominals. They are in charge of pulling the ribs down, which is really important for any time that we're doing abdominal work, is keeping those ribs pulled down. Otherwise, what ends up happening is we end up overarching the back, straining the back, especially the low back, and completely disconnecting from our abdominals. So go ahead and grab your magic circle. If you don't have one, you can use something like a pillow or a ball with some give to it, like a softer ball. Anything that will give you a little bit of feedback and pushback as you press against it will help you to find the connection that we're looking for today. So grab your mat, grab your toy, and let's get to it. Okay, so you're gonna start by lying flat on your mat like this, placing one pad of the circle against both of your thighs and holding onto the other pad of the circle with your hands. Make sure to have a slight bend in your elbows and your spine is nice and neutral here. Take an inhale to start, and then as you exhale, press against that circle using that pressure and that resistance to find the rib cage and to slide it down towards the hips. Each time that you push against the circle, I want you to feel as if it's not your hands that are pressing, but rather your abdominals. So tighten the ribs first, find right in between them, and pull them downwards. And as you pull down, eventually some pressure will be put into the circle with your hands. But before that, don't initiate immediately from the hands because I don't want you to feel nothing but your forearms. You will feel some there because they are working and just the positioning of them and everything is going to work them. But what I want you to really focus on is using that pressure as leverage to find those ribs and to pull them downwards towards your hips. This will get a little bit easier once we actually curl the head and shoulders forwards, a little easier to find that. But for now, just focus on that positioning and that sensation. Okay, so next we're gonna come into peeling the head and shoulders forwards. So placing that circle on the tops of your thighs, holding onto the other pad, take an inhale, and then as you exhale, again, initiate from the ribs, tighten them and start to slide them downwards. And as you do, you'll end up putting some pressure into that circle to peel your head and shoulders forwards. Once you are lifted off of the mat, check in with yourself and make sure that you didn't pull yourself off of the mat using your neck. You used that sensation, that motion of the rib cage sliding downwards to peel you forwards. Then once you're up there, keep yourself lifted and inhale, release some of that pressure, and then exhale, push against that circle, intensifying that sensation of the rib cage sliding downwards. So each time that you press against that circle, I want it to come from the ribs first, the hands second. Any tension that you increase in that circle is coming from the ribs sliding down and that connection in the abdominals increasing. So there's this shortening of the space between your lowest rib and your hip on both sides. Okay, from there, move the circle from both of your thighs to just on top of one of them. Hands on the other pad. Take an inhale here, and then as you exhale, slide the ribs down to peel the head and shoulders forwards. Again, using that contraction of the obliques on both sides of the abdominals to lift your head and shoulders off of the mat. Once you are there, hold that positioning. Check in first with your neck and make sure that it is clear of any tension that your shoulders are away from your ears and that you're using the circle as leverage to keep the rib cage pulled down and your spine in the right position. So you're not overextending it and popping those ribs forwards. Inhale, slide your opposing leg away from you, and then as you exhale, pull the ribs down a little bit further, increasing the tension on that circle to drag that leg back in towards you. Inhale to slide it out long, exhale to drag it in. So you're always curled forwards, but each time you drag that leg in, I want you to intensify how much you can get up off of that mat without clenching the shoulders into your ears and without tensing the neck. So the way you do that is by shrinking the space between your ribs and your hips and using that circle as leverage to help you get there. Adding on from there, take an inhale. As you exhale, slide the ribs down, press into that circle and peel the head and shoulders forwards. Slide your opposing leg away and hold it out there. As you exhale, lift that leg off of the mat. As you lift it, just hovering it off of the mat, intensify that peeled forwards, that flexed forwards position by sliding the ribs down even further, intensifying that work in your abdomen. Again, circle is secondary, but you want to kind of feel like you are pressing into it a little bit more by way of positioning those ribs downwards. Once you've done that, peel yourself forwards again, slide your opposing leg long, hover it off of the mat, take an inhale, and then as you exhale, slide your leg into tabletop. So the leg is always hovering off the mat. You pull it in and you reach it away. I want you to exhale as you pull in to again slide the ribs down further as the knee comes towards you, using that oppositional force of the leg coming in and the hands pressing against that circle to help you connect to your center, okay? This should keep you out of your neck and shoulders. And one last and final variation here, take an inhale, and then as you exhale, slide the ribs down, putting some pressure into that circle to peel you forwards. Once you're up there, hold yourself there, slide your opposing leg long and hover it up off of the mat, lifting it all the way up to 90 degrees if that's available to you. Using that circle to intensify the connection in your center as you lift that leg upwards. Inhale to lower the leg down without completely disconnecting from your center. Just allowing that inhale to expand through your center, and then exhale, tighten everything in and together as you lift that leg back up. So using this tool is meant to help you to keep your collarbone wide, to keep the shoulders away from the ears, and to keep the neck tension free. If you think about pressing not so much with the hands first, but with the hands second, after you've connected to your center to pull yourself forwards by way of sliding the ribs down, then you'll be able to intensify the work that you feel in your abdominals and the connection that you feel there to sustain that flexed forwards position. It's a thing that a lot of us struggle with, keeping the ribs in place while we are on our backs and moving our arms or our legs, mainly the legs, because that's usually how abdominal exercises go. So working on keeping yourself positioned correctly by the right connection and sustaining that connection against the movement of the legs is how you're going to be successful at targeting your abdominals.